I'm Priyanie Amerasinghe, and I'm working at the International Water Management Institute at its Delhi office. Its headquarters is in Sri Lanka, and we have a number of offices in a number of countries.
Now, Priyanie, we're very interested in the relationship between the work you're doing with water and water systems, and how that links to the idea of sustainable food systems and future urban and peri-urban development. Would you like to say a little bit about the work you're doing in that area?
The institution as a whole looks at water and land management for agriculture. So food security is an important aspect of the research that we do. We know that water is seen as a sectoral subject, but increasingly the ecosystem services concept is seen to be very important to look at the landscape and to see how water is distributed across.
And could you tell us a little bit about, when you say that ecosystem services are important, one, what that means as a concept, and two, a little bit about how it's, when people talk about it, often they only talk about one aspect rather than the interconnections between water, the city, food, society.
If you take ecosystem services as a concept, it's looking at what nature provides as benefits to people, and is connected to people's well-being. And it is important, therefore, to see the provision of food, which is something that nature provides across this landscape, and to understand the different kinds of ecosystem services. As you know, the Millennium Ecosystem Assessment looked at 4 major categories, and these are the provisioning services, the regulating services, cultural services, and the supporting services. And there is an interconnection that we need to understand and to address through the research that we undertake.
And from the work that you've done, do you think those interconnections are being explored at the moment?
So as you know, it's a very complex framework, and we need to explore much more than what we are doing at present. For instance, we can take food production and try to understand it flows through the urban system to the peri-urban system to the rural systems and vice versa. And one of the things that we would like to see how urbanization is impacting the peri-urban spaces. So much of the research that I do looks at this peri-urban space and to understand how agriculture production is affected by impacts of urbanization.
And in your work, where do you think, or how do you think the ecosystem services approach connects with policy development?
Currently, the policy dimension is within administrative units. The policymakers or the decision makers don't think beyond these boundaries. And I think our research is going to bring to the forefront that we need to look at a city region as a landscape and look at the ecosystems within that and the services that this ecosystem provides. So we concentrate on the agriculture production and its links to water, and how all of these are then linked to poverty, especially. And this is the kind of research that I do at the moment.
And in relation to ecosystem services and urbanization, am I correct in thinking that there are probably general concepts and approaches that could be applied to many urbanizing regions, sort of common themes and issues which may not be particularly related to the Indian subcontinent, but that we could learn from, for example, in Europe as well?
I think there's a lot of lessons that we can learn, and there can be some generic messages that can come out. One of the things that we see is the natural resources management is currently looked at from a very sectoral point of view. And what we are trying to do at the moment is bring these sectors together, especially with the planners, so that the planners can understand where the natural resources are, where is degradation taking place, and therefore the ecosystem services are being degraded due to urbanization. And include this sort of ecological or ecosystem services based approach to overall planning. And I'm sure this type of work happens even in the developed world. So it is the context, and through these contexts, some generic sort of learnings can be distilled out.
Yeah. And we're very interested in this concept of productive urban landscapes and multifunctional landscapes coming into cities, both as a way of improving the quality of life in the city and in a way of enhancing ecosystem services and sustainable food provision. Do you think that discussion about the idea of a productive landscape, sort of planned urban, peri-urban landscape, which is a multifunctional aspect, is on the agenda yet in the research areas that you are working?
Yes, I think it's very much in the research agenda. I have worked with the Ruaf Foundation, looking very much into this sort of topic, trying to look at the urban systems where agriculture is taking place, and trying to understand if the decision makers are willing to take up the idea of productive landscapes. And there was a project that I was engaged in both in India and Sri Lanka, trying to do this sort of, activity. And so it was called this multi-stakeholder policy planning and action plan. And it was to capacity build amongst the decision makers, and also sort of pilot productive use of urban landscapes. So I think the idea is that what is required is upscaling now. And I'm sure this is where I think our research together can develop some innovative ideas to include the ecosystem services concepts and to take it further.
Yes, okay. Thanks very much, Priyanie. I think that's very helpful for us. And making this exchange, of course, between what's happening, for example, in India, Indian subcontinent, and us here now in Brighton, is very interesting for us, because there are so many common areas and issues, even though the context might be different. But beginning to look at how these systems impact potentially within urban development is very, very interesting for us and for the project we're pursuing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for inviting me for this workshop.
Good.